Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man issue number 7. This was not a fun issue. It was a good issue, but it wasn't fun. There is like no moment in here where you're going to feel happy about life. Maybe the first couple of pages. But anyway, let's read into this. Feast or Famine, Part 1. Tom Taylor is the writer, Ken Lashley is the artist, Nolan Woodard on colors, VC's Travis Lanham on letters, Andrew C. Robinson does the cover art, and of course, Stan Lee created Spider-Man with Steve Ditko. First couple pages, Peter Parker learning how to be a good human being. Aunt May, Uncle Ben, told him, here, go give this $1 to that homeless person. I don't know if it's $1.05, I don't know what it was, but even though they're hurting on a phone bill as opposed to being able to eat. So they take note of their priorities, and this is their neighborhood, and they're just trying to help. They're doing whatever they can. And there's a really good message in here too. The idea of, well, shouldn't we give them food instead, or shouldn't we give them clothes instead, or shouldn't we make sure they're not going to buy alcohol with it instead? It's like, dude, don't try and take something else away from these people who've already lost pretty much everything. Just give them the cash dollar. That's a really good message. I'm going to leave it at that. Some people will disagree. That's on you. What do you call it? Dignity. Dignity is one of the best things you can give to a human being. And sometimes that means just giving them what they're asking for, and that is money. So, what have you. The rest of this comic book is nothing but heartache, dude. So here is Aunt May, a regular, common human being citizen who pays taxes and everything, and she's going to die of her cancer, apparently, because she can't afford treatment because her insurance doesn't cover her. How many times have I heard this damn story, and it's still new every single time I hear it? This is what a Spider-Man comic book should be, to me. And I want you to think about that for just a hot second and look at it comparatively. Spider-Man is not just this guy who goes around punching people in the face. He practically mugs some guy who just tries to attack a homeless dude. In retrospect of what he just experienced, the flashback that we just seen of his life lesson. Here's this guy who comes along and says, you're homeless, we don't want you here. And he beats up on this guy. Why? Because he thinks there are no consequences. What is this bum going to do to me? What's he going to do to me? He's down on his luck. I'm saying? He has no strength, no way to fight back. And cops aren't going to listen to a crazy old bum, right? So here's this person who I can victimize. I'm going to make him a victim to feel better about myself with this big sardonic smile on my face. It's terrible. And yeah, we've seen people like that. Maybe not beating up on a bum, but we've seen people who love to punch down so they can feel better about themselves. And Spidey goes and takes care of this guy. Twice he finds himself in a predicament where he says, yeah, I could see how this could be taken the wrong way. This is only one of them. And I love that we have a callback to that. This comic book is written so damn well. And just real quick, Ken Lashley and Nolan Woodard on, art and colors. So yes, it's a naturally beautiful book also. But like the writing in this, man, it's just the way that this book just turns, it's beautiful. Aunt May has reopened Feast. We've already seen that. And she's trying to help out. She's pretty much in charge of Feast right now. Negative Man is gone. Bye. So she's in charge of it right now. And she's doing what she can to help people, even though she's not doing so well. We also get, I can't remember the name of the person. Darn it. It's in here really quick. I'm not going to kill myself trying to find it. But the girl who is a superhero, the old person superhero thing, for crying out loud, if only we could actually see what the hell her name was. Marnie, whatever her superhero name is, I forget what it is. We just saw her recently, the old city thing. I didn't like that part of the storyline, but hopefully modern day it'll be much better. Anyway, she mentions at one point, you didn't tell me that your aunt was a superhero. That was a great comment. I loved that. I genuinely loved that. Wow. Awesome. Because yes, Aunt May is a superhero, whether she looks like Miss Tomei or Marissa Tomei or not. What do you call it? Boomerang is forced to act like a good guy, but, or at least to but he doesn't necessarily do good guy things to be the good guy. Prowler is in this. You may have noticed from the front, it even says it. It's like Prowler, so somewhere in here. Prowler, right in there. Yes, that's Prowler. I want you to think about this book. I want you to think about how at home this book is. It's called Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Stick to the neighborhood. Yes. This was a feel-good comic book, even though it didn't feel good to read it. It reminds us of all the problems that common folk have. The idea that I guess these are whatever, the local business owners, realtors, concerned citizens that are worried about their pocketbooks looking bigger. They're being able to charge more for rent. Saying in the neighborhood, they want these bums off the street. Aunt May is taking bums off the street. She is taking homeless people off the street. She's giving them, dignity in general, but food, shelter, giving them an opportunity to use their money for medicine, things along those lines, even though she herself is hurting. And it's taking people off the street and helping. But the idea is like, oh, but here's a common eyesore. Here's a building that, funds and takes care of homeless people. Nobody's going to want to live next to this building. So as opposed to putting the bums on the street, that's what you want. What's the alternative? Send the police, send the what are they called? The jackbooted thugs, the Pinkertons, to come along and give them citations. These are people who are begging for scraps, for change on the street, and they're going to be able to afford a $200 fine, saying move along. Like, come on. Like, this is the answer. Aunt May has the answer. And these other people, they just want them gone. I don't know. Somebody else's problems, just out of sight, out of mind. Lovely. Lovely. You got to love the way that the world works sometimes. When you're way up there, you can't see down. How is this any different from someone who just beats up on a bum? It's not very different. And yet, look at the other book that Tom Taylor's writing over in DC Comics. Deceased. I think that this book is kind of, or at least that book, one of these books, is a balancing effort for Tom Taylor's mind. He's just like, listen, I want to show some of the basic problems in the world and leave questions as to how best to solve them. He's not throwing in a right wing, a left wing, no agendas, nothing like that. He's just throwing out the ideas that this is what's here. How would you choose to fix these problems? Because they are problems that do need to be fixed. How do we fix them? Do we socialize the problems? What do we do with these problems? You know what I'm saying? Do we just get rid of these people? I don't know. Do we start throwing bootstraps at these people so they can pick themselves up by them? I don't know. How do we handle these problems? And then on the other end of the fence, over in DC, he's just like, yeah, I'm going to send zombies to kill people because, this is how he balances his life equation. And I love that. Anyway, guys, it's a good book, but I stand by my original principle. This is not a fun book at all. Nope, this is a book for the thinking man. Because you got to think to yourself, how would I solve this problem if I were suddenly the ruler of the world? Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.